some back, a little bit of rear delts and some biceps. It's been a while, well, a little while since we did like a back day. So I figured today would be a cool day to film some back. So first exercise we're gonna do, we're gonna start with the lat pullover machine. I like to start with something lat base, just something more of a stretching movement, just to get a nice stretch, get the blood flowing there, to get ready to prime myself for the heavier movements. And since this gym has a lat pullover machine, which is one of my favorites, I'll start with this. Boom. Nick, yes. I'm so mad. My Apple Watch didn't charge. So now I don't know how many steps I'm doing. Now I'm winging it. Oh. Okay. Getting strong now. Oh. Oh, wait. Mm. Mm. I just like to make sure the stretch is really good there. We get a nice good squeeze at the bottom there for the lat. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. 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 Oh shit. Whew. Hmm. Had a big pump. Woo! All right, so we did one set of 9, and I lowered the weight a little bit. One set of 12, so that's good there. Now we're going to this Atlantis rowing machine. Okay. We're filming, so I want to go higher. The camera motivates me. We're gonna push 4 plates. See how this feels. And the cool thing with the Atlantis row, there's 4 different grips, literally. You got the wide grip, which is what I'm doing. More of a narrow, this supinated type, and then you can do reverse. This is a little difficult. You know, if you're me being, a little bigger, it's kind of hard to flick the wrist. But if you're able to, this is good. Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll work there. So yeah, like I said, go here. We're gonna hit like 8 to 10 as the top. But the form never breaks, Everyone has their theories, push past the failure, which is cool. Well, when you create so much time under tension, I do feel like mechanical failure is enough. Then you can either repeat that same set and try to match it depending on how many reps, or do a slight back off. Just make sure the rest periods are enough for you to recover. You got your breath, everything feels good, and then you attack again. The short period is too short and you rest too long, odds are you're not gonna get the most out of that second set that you should. Then you fucked up. Okay, here we go now. Mm. Ooh. Hey. Oh. Hey. Hey. Oh. 10 reps. Exactly what I was hoping for. I felt good. So you will do a back off. Or I can control it just a little bit more. You get a nice good squeeze back there. So we'll take a, few minute rest, 3 plates. I like to get 12 there. Like I said, when you get better control, you're not going to bust out 15, 20 reps here. But the better control, a little bit of higher rep, it'll be better. So now we're going to do seated cable row, which is, in my opinion, for me, next to those over there, this is probably one of my favorite exercises. Everyone's different, but whether this is wide, close, whatever, I can just contract those knees very, very well. So we'll kind of just get into it. I don't really think I need a warm-up set at this point, so let's see. Mm. Right. 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 We'll definitely go up a little bit. We got 15 there for the first set, which is perfectly fine. People, I think, When it comes to seated cable, everyone's different. People really like to emphasize the stretch really, really far and bring it back. I kind of like to go just where they get the full length in without overdoing it and bring the lower back in there. I feel like if you stretch too far, you just hinder the lower back a little more. So when I do the full range of stretching, I kind of save those for when I do stiff arm cable pull down. Anything I'll pull down, I'll really go as high as I can. When it comes to seated things, unless it's chest supported, I'll just go as far as, it'll allow me to go before I have to really emphasize more. And honestly, I think it's worked out better for me just in terms of keeping tension. Because I feel like if you go stretch too far, you can definitely lose tension. So if you go as far as, a little bit, that should be enough. Phew. That burns, man. The control, the negative, slight pause, the squeeze, it's lights out, man. People don't do that shit anymore. Too much swinging, not enough control. I'd rather train as hard as I can in a short amount of time and get out. And spend 3.5 hours here doing all this junk banging. And I talk a lot of shit, but that used to be me. No, but I talk shit on it now, but you learn, right? Like volume might be for you, volume might not be. That's why when people say, "Oh, well, this works for me," well, yeah, I'm sure it does, but have you tried the other way to see if it really works for you? You might find something else that works a little better. So just because you train one way your whole life and it works for you, doesn't mean another way won't. So be open-minded. Don't be afraid to try new shit. That's why for me, I think that's why I got to where I'm at. Because I wasn't afraid to listen. I wasn't afraid to learn. Even now, I'd say I'm one of the best at the game right now. And I love taking advice from people. It's not about being at my level. It's not about being at any level. If you can learn something from somebody and it works, why not? And especially in this day and age, new shit comes out every fucking day. So if it works, try it. Okay. Let's see. See if we can find a good rack. Okay, so now we were going to do some rack deads, but there's no rack that's low enough. That's okay. So we'll do another cool movement, which is one of my favorites. One arm dumbbell row. I know it's only 130 pounds, but again, it's how you contract. I could easily row 180s, 200s, and then I got a bicep pump. I got some type of elbow pain here. My rear delts don't feel hot, and no lat, pretty much. So again, this is a lat-based movement. The point is going to row, toward the lat. You could row higher, which is fine. You'll just hit more, traps, rhomboids, rear delts. No big deal. That's fine. But I'm going to pull it as far back as I can to hit the lat. Toward the end, when it gets a little heavier, I might just, kind of pull up a little bit. That's fine. But majority of this whole movement is for lat. Ooh. Whew. Now I keep the leg in front that I'm driving with. That makes it a little harder and limits the hip drive, which a lot of people believe creates the thick waist. So when you keep that foot out in front, it makes it harder for you to turn. So doing it like that, yes, you won't be able to go as heavy, but even doing it this way, I can track my lats even better. So at the end of the day, we're bodybuilders. So whatever creates the most tension, best contraction is what you should probably do. Quality, people. Quality, not quantity. Okay, here we go. Oof. 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 Whew. Yeah. Whew. So we'll do one more set with the 130s there. Now, I could probably get a little more reps, I'm not gonna lie, out of this. Could probably get 2 to 3 more, but I don't want to again bring in the hips. So when I feel that I'm gonna start doing it, I'll just stop. And I'd rather do another set with better control than have 2 to 3 reps that are sloppy and create the hip drive. I worked very hard to get my waist where it is. Not gonna risk it for a few reps. Okay, so now we're gonna do a rear delt movement. Or you can just kind of lean on this a little more, like so, and get the rear. I actually like doing these over reverse pec deck. Again, it's all preference, but for me, I'm just able to contract a little better on these. I don't know. 75, we'll see how that goes. Hey, now we can go up. These are really good. Rear delts are not a big muscle group, so you don't need to go crazy, crazy heavy. And you also don't need to do a lot for them, you know? One exercise, maybe 2, kill it real hard for no growth. Again, it's all about time and attention too. Hey. Wow, that's a great exercise. So I was actually a little heavier than I thought. So I will lower the weight a little bit just so I can control it better. But that, I mean, it was a good set. But I want to get a little better control. So I'll probably do one more set here and do either a rest pause or maybe end with some partials. This is rear delts are good for partials. Like I said, it's not a big muscle group. So I either drink, and no, I'm not advertising, but I will always drink coffee for a little caffeine boost. I love coffee. Basically with all that sugar-free shit in it that isn't good for you, but I like it, so I do it. and Celsius. You know, that's something I'll drink again in the morning. If I'm not in the mood for coffee, I'll have a little Celsius and I'll drink that on the way to cardio or something. Before training, I'm not a fan of stims. I just think they take away from the pump. They take, so what I want before training is just pump products. So that's why I use only pump products before I train. Oof, oof, oof. Oh, rest pause. Okay, so rest pause there on the second set into 10 partials. So we're delta fried, pumped up. So now biceps. We'll start with cable curl. To me, those are my favorite. Like again, cables just keep all the tension on the bicep. You don't lose that shit anywhere. So we'll start with a cable curl, and then maybe some sort of like preacher or seated, and that'll be it really. 2 bicep movements is all I needed at this point. I mean, I used to do 3 to 4 exercises or have their own arm day, and now I barely, do them like I used to, and I feel like they've grown more. But it's a mental thing. I got to do them. I'll feel weird if I don't have a pump somewhere. It's like, that's just a warm up. Woo. See how this feels. Really? That's good. Yeah. That'll be a good weight. So we'll do that. Again, for arms, I do a little lighter, 12 to 15. I just think that's good. I get the most pump out of there. 10's okay, but anything lower, the pump's not really there for me. So for arms, 12 to 15. Sometimes I'll even do 20. At the end of the day, I don't need much size, if any, on my arms. But like I said, I like to, still do them. Keep blood in there, keep them full. Um, so a couple sets, and I'm good. I mean, like I said, I do them a lot less, and they seem to still be growing. But again, it just goes to show when you train so intense, you control it as much as you possibly can. You do a slight pause, which I think creates more tension. Squeeze the top. You don't need a lot. If you don't want to, I heard some comments. People say I don't train as heavy or as intense as I used to. How do you know? Because I'm not screaming. Because I don't have 800 pounds on the bar like I used to. That makes you not intense anymore. You get older, you realize you don't need to scream to be intense, and you also don't need 800 pounds, on a machine to be intense. It's how you do it that makes it intense. Remember that. Mm. Ah, thanks. Hey. 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 What? Hey. Ooh, that burned. Oh, so about 15 reps there. Like I said, even with biceps, we're still doing the whole full range, which definitely makes a difference. But we're going a little bit heavier. I feel like I can. I could probably stay, but it wasn't crazy heavy. So we'll go up a little bit, probably do a rest pause or maybe a single drop. I don't really know. I decide like as soon as I'm done the set. So, all right, here we go now. Well, well, um, hey, uh, uh, oh. All right. So the good rest pause set there. And that is going to do it for today's back, rear delt, low bicep work. We did about 4 back movements, one rear delt, 2 biceps. I figured since I have another back day coming toward the end of the week, I thought that was enough for me. Especially like I said, I emphasize this probably in every video, but when you control it that much, get a good contraction, you don't have to do several exercises to get what you need out of it. And also, again, as I emphasized in I think my last video, exercise selection is key. It really is key.